Heard a piece on the radio the other day about a couple who boarded a plane with their kids, and first thing they did was go up and down the plane handing out goodie bags with little notes inside to every other passenger, apologizing in advance if their kids caused a little turmoil on the plane. Let's admit this is a nice gesture. Let's also admit that anybody with the time, effort, energy, and wherewithal to put together a couple hundred goodie bags could go sit in first class and keep their kids to themselves. For the rest of us, let's acknowledge that there are a few rules that could be followed when you're flying with your children. First of all, sit up front. There's a reason they let you on first. That way your kids can be pointed towards the bulkhead and that nice noise-absorbing synthetic material they put up there. Remember, sound goes in the direction from who's ever emitting the sound. That means wherever your kid's mouth is pointed, that's where the sound is going. And rather than being pointed at the back of my head or your head, put them up front where they can be pointed at the bulkhead. And remember, you'll be the first ones off. If your kids tend to fight, sit between them. I know this sounds like a no-brainer, but how many people don't do this? If your kids tend to fight over something, bring at least 2 of those things. 2 crayons, 2 coloring books, 2 whatever. And you know what? If you can afford all the rest of this stuff, just buy their shrink a ticket, let him sit between them, and leave the rest of us alone. Remember, an airplane is a closed space. Unlike poker, you cannot demand a reseating unless you want to meet the air marshal. When people are finally decided to talk to you about your kids, they have finally had enough of the yelling and the screaming and somebody puking in their hair. Are you doing all you can to make this a harmonious flight? Are you drinking yourself into a state of oblivion to avoid it all? Are you remembering what your mother told you about birth control and that guy you decided to marry? Before you jump down my throat, I know we've all had marvelous moments sitting next to a precocious kid. I myself had passed out pens, markers, paper, and had delightful conversations about the world according to a 7-year-old. I've even developed a pen pal, so I do not tar all with the same brush. But this is not to say that tar, a brush, a muzzle, and other implements might come in handy on your next flight.